Guys, welcome back to another video. It's your boy Monix, and today we're going to be talking about Black Ops 7. Now, before you call me an Activision shill, I know I have to have a disclaimer before I make this video. But guys, I really truly think, okay, I know you're going to be like, oh Monix, then you made a video months ago how the Call of Duty community can't move on, and yet here you're playing Black Ops 7. Listen. I'm gonna explain why right now while I'm playing it. And I've been really watching a lot of YouTubers recently, or just the past few weeks, about like, I'm not saying like exposed or rage baiter type stuff, or well, kind of like those type of videos, I guess. But anyways, I know you're gonna be like, oh, we use that word, your credibility is gone. Anyways, like I said in my last video. Anyways, I'm just yapping, just the yap. I was watching those content creators and I was like, wow, I've been really wrong about Call of Duty these past few years, man. Yes, Activision has still done, shady stuff, whitelisting, and, content creators, this and that. We all know about all of that. But at the same time, though, there's been a lot of things that a lot of people just been like, I guess you could say, has been grifted. We all have been grifted so hard by a lot of these content creators recently, and just the past few years, to the point where, I think the reason why that content has even begun to gain popularity is because that popular content, that type of content was super popular, like back in MW22, when the game was straight up horrible, right? Like the game was just a dumpster fire. I think it's one of the worst Call of Duty, if not the worst Call of Duty game of all time, subjectively to me. I think it's like my least favorite, right? But I will say that content around that game was super negative, right? Like everyone was trashing on the game. The campaign, I mean, it was good. I mean, yeah, but it was really the multiplayer that everyone was focusing on. And on that game, it made sense to be negative on Call of Duty, hate on Call of Duty, because everyone was doing it. And I think we have applied that mindset from then and to basically to now, where like we feel like Call of Duty has been like regressing, but at the same time the game is actually kind of underrated and a little overhated, if you know what I'm saying. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go over the arguments onto why that I seen on the internet, onto like I'm gonna counter those arguments, and I'm gonna get you guys, like, I'm not saying like, oh, you gotta turn to an Activision shill or a Call of Duty fanboy. No, that's not what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do is trying to get you guys to be a little bit more open-minded, instead of saying that regurgitating the same stuff over and over, and actually bring into some actual new intel, new things to say, instead of just saying the same stuff over and over, and actually get you guys thinking a little bit. Because I know when we're watching YouTube content, we don't think, we just watch, right? We don't go and research it ourselves to make just to make sure, double fact check that YouTuber, right? We just watch the video, right? Anyways, on to the video. So basically, on my first point is the DLC argument. Now, I don't know why this argument has been, surfaced in the first place. Now, I do get the understanding of Modern Warfare 2023. Now, that game was just a flat-out DLC. I don't care if anybody says. That game is a DLC. $70. That game was a $70 DLC when it came out, right? It literally was the reverse of Infinity Ward to mess up. That's basically what the game was, right? Sledgehammer Games, I will say Sledgehammer Games have done a really good job with NW23, and I was actually one of the glazers of that game. Well, secret glazers, because I don't want to just go on the internet and say, guys, Modern Warfare 2023 is a masterpiece. Well, it's not a masterpiece, but it was actually better than a lot of people thought it was. I do think the campaign was not really good. The pacing was not good. The open world missions were horrible as well. But at the same time, guys, the multiplayer is actually pretty decent. The aftermarket parts were, the camos were actually really good. And that's pretty much, and the gunplay was just good as well. Like, it was like perfect movement. I mean, it was still kind of insane to a lot of people, which I do understand. But anyways, the point is that if you want to argue that from BO6 to BO7 isn't basically a DLC, a downloadable content game, then I just disagree with that. I just think that the problem is that Activision shouldn't have not done in the first place is that they released BO6 and then BO7, a back-to-back Black Ops game. And that was the same thing with MW22 to 23. it was just back to back to back. Like, I think a lot of people is just getting tired of the Modern Warfare and the Black Ops series, and the fact that we're getting them back to back too is just makes it no better, and it just actually constitutes that DLC argument. Like, it's really delusioning people that BO7 is an DLC. Now, if we're gonna argue that BO7 is a DLC, then pretty much every single Call of Duty, like after Call of Duty 1, is a DLC. If you want to argue that, right? Like, literally, even during the golden age, the only reason why people didn't call, well, besides, the jump from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3, well, the two original Modern Warfare 2s and 3s, like, now that was just like I said, again, that's a DLC, just like the rebooted ones of those games. But anyways, the reason why a lot of people don't say those games are DLCs is because the games weren't back to back. Now, if they were back to back, then a lot of people will probably start saying, yeah, some of the Golden Age Call of Duty games, if not most of them, were DLCs, right? If they, were back to back, right? But that just constitutes my point, guys. These games are just back to back, and I think they should not do that. I also think they should introduce a sub-series, or actually reintroduce one they haven't done in a while, like Advanced Warfare 2, maybe, or Infinite Warfare 2, like just something, or maybe an entirely brand sub-series of the Call of Duty franchise. But that's pretty much it for the DLC arguments. Now, let's actually get on to the cheater arguments. Now, I kind of touched this a little bit on my last video when I was actually praising, Battlefield Studios. I will say this, guys, I get that, Ricochet is not the best thing in the world, obviously, yeah, right. But at the same time, guys, we gotta realize Call of Duty is just happen to be the most popular game to cheat on, right? A lot of people use Chronosys and, maybe macros and, actually, I've been actually hearing that some people found out that you can actually, like, cheat from just, like, using a secondary device and just like some AI something. I don't know how they do it, but that's just what I've been hearing from other people. And I'm just saying, guys, like, the cheater infestation problem with Call of Duty isn't Call of Duty exclusive. Every other game has this problem. Rainbow Six Siege has a huge cheater problem. I know, like I said in my last video, Counter-Strike, you have to literally go on a whole different client, and even then, you're still, like I said, I know I'm kind of regurgitating the same stuff myself, but I'm serious, guys. Just for the people who didn't watch that video, for CS:GO, you literally have to client. But even if you do, you still encounter some cheaters, right? No, we want to trash on the Ricochet anti-cheat, and I do it myself. But at the same time, we gotta think, okay? This is more of an industry gaming-wide problem, and even the best anti-cheat from Riot Games for Valorant still has cheaters in them. So you cannot fully prevent cheaters. Like, a lot of these YouTubers make it seem like the game is like a cheater infestation. Like, every game, or almost every game, you're gonna run into a cheater. When I played Black Ops 7, I barely ran into a cheater, if not even one. To be honest with you, I think like all I went against was just really good players. And it could be another problem. Like, okay. And this actually goes into my next section, and I'm gonna say this the most polite way that I can. I will say this before I say this. I am not good myself. I'm probably just average at best in Call of Duty, right? In terms of arcade shooters, I'm just all right? Like, I'm not the best player. I'm not even above average, but I guess I can say I'm not below average. But a lot of people need to realize the average player has just gotten better. Now, I did make a video, not too long ago onto why Call of Duty is sweaty, and you need to learn these two keywords that I say in that video, which is micro positioning and macro positioning. Go watch that video after you get done watching this video, because it will explain why Call of Duty is actually sweaty. And we can also say, like I said, like when I just got done saying the average player just gotten better, but at the same time, you guys might not just be, you might just be more macro positional more, right? Because old Call of Duty was actually more macro positional than micro positional. Now, I still had micro elements, but at the same time, Call of Duty has just gotten more about the individual player and more of the reaction time, it's just more of the individual player skill instead of like, teamwork, objective play, and like, map awareness, But at the same time, that's basically what Battlefield is. It's more of a macro positional game. But at the same time, you might just be more macro superior, or you may actually be micro superior. It just comes down to like which type of like, you know, FPS game, like what type of positioning they have, and you know which one you're more accustomed to that point. I see it as that. So that's probably the most polite way I could put it, instead of just saying, oh, you need to just get better, or you just might be trash, which maybe, but at the same time, I can't speak on anybody's skill level because I don't know who's watching this video, right? Because they can go around, drop like a 1 KD in like Black Ops 7 or just in Call of Duty, but when they go into a game like the finals or maybe another shooter game, they actually drop like 2 KDs I'll be seeing, or like even like 3 KDs sometimes. But that's just besides the point. And even also when XDefiant was around, like the people who weren't, you know, dominating, they weren't dominating, you know, I think it was Modern Warfare 2023 when it came, I think, yeah, during that time period of XDefiant. But when they went to XDefiant, they were just like destroying lobbies, man. I'm just saying it might just be more of like the movement. Like I said, the movement kind of do go hand in hand. I understand why people, you know, critique the movement, because it's just like, you know, I get it, because the movement is like, this is basically like, oh, do a whole 360 YY 360 into a G slide or something like that. It is kind of insane still. And yeah, like I said, I do think they should like add like an old school movement playlist, hopefully in future seasons, because yeah, casuals are not touching this game, I can tell you that. But anyways, that's all I gotta say for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is what I think about, you know, the Black Ops 7 hate. And in terms of multiplayer, now if it's campaign, which I agree is just downright horrendous, and I did play the little zombies. I think zombies is actually decent this year as well. But in terms of multiplayer and maybe a little bit of zombies, maybe if you want to see a zombies video, let me know down in the comments below. But I think for multiplayer, I think multiplayer is alright. Guys, before I wrap up this video, let's talk about the last section of this video, little commentary here, and that's about SBMM. Now, a lot of guys kind of confuse the ideal that, oh, there's going to be no SBMM at all, like XDefiant, where like after the welcome playlist, there's no SBMM at all, none, bar none, no protective brackets, everyone gets thrown in at the same time. But a lot of people don't realize is that they said minimally considered, so there is still SBMM, but it's only for the bottom percent of players, like 2% probably, because you have to have a 0.2 KD to even reverse boost if you're a reverse booster, which I think if you reverse boost, then you're just cringe. I'm sorry. Anyways, what I'm just trying to say here, guys, is that a lot of people thought that no SBMM was just gonna be a thing, and like, because a lot of content creators just say, oh, it's just better, it's just easier and like shorter to say no SBMM instead of, you know, saying limited SBMM, right? Because it gets the most clicks on the videos and stuff. So I think that's probably the reason why a lot of things get misrepresented. And like, yeah, like I said, Activision has never really lied on something they never said. Now, to say that they never lied in the past is wrong, but at the same time about this, how can you lie about something you never said, right? Anyways, what I'm just trying to say is that guys, listen to me, right? Listen to me. All right. SBMM is not, well, this limited SBMM, the open SBMM, is not as bad as BO6. People don't really understand how bad BO6 really was in terms of SBMM. Literally, when I play the free trial of BO6, bro, listen, almost every single game that I played, I got a 1 KD, or at least near a 1 KD. I'm not joking, like literally. Now, for the open SBMM, I'm actually dropping more 2 KD games more recently. I'm getting all my streaks more frequently compared to BO6. But that's all I gotta say for the SBMM argument, guys. Calm down, all right? Now, it is suspicious. Exclusive Ace did make a video about that. I watched the entire video. You know, go subscribe to Exclusive Ace Legend, or to his Reloaded channel, excuse me, since, you know, he had to swap the 2 channels, because I genuinely think the reason why is because he don't want to see any, like, you know, negativity, you know, from the Battlefield 6 guys, and, you know, kind of like having the 2 fan bases like collide, you know, with each other, and just having non-stop of negativity, which no one doesn't want that. But anyways, that's pretty much all I'm gonna say here. And also, I think there is a little something going on with the limited SBMM playlist, the open, SBMM playlist. I think that there is some type of prestige-based matchmaking or something. Because every time, like literally, the more you prestige, the more frequently you're gonna run into a prestige. Like that is fact proven. So, and also your ping might be a little higher too. So, yeah, it is suspicious. I will say that it is a little suspicious. I think the problem with Activision is that they don't tell us anything. Literally, like the lack of communication kind of makes us feel like there's something going on and gives us this, ideal that they are lying, right? So Activision, please be more open and front. But truly though, guys, hope you guys really enjoy the video. I'm done saying what I gotta say. Leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And your boy Monix is out. Let me rap right quick before you go. Yeah, listen. I'm on the battlefield holding up my shield. Every single one of us has to pay our bills. Yeah, I know the game doesn't feel real. Yeah, I know we gotta make a hodo deal. Yeah, I know we gotta make a hodo sale. Yeah, climb to the highest of the hills. Yeah, playing zero builds. Yeah, but everyone always gotta go for the kills. Yeah.